Good day students, and welcome to today's lockdown lesson for personnel training in 6, where we are still busy with module 5, where we are covering evaluation during training interventions. In part 3 of module 5, we are now going to look at the levels of training evaluation as well as the instruments we can use to evaluate training. So in hierdie gedeelte gaan ons regtig loer na die 5 verskillende vlakke van evaluering, as ook die instrumente wat kan gebruik word tydens die evalueringsproses. Nou daar is 5 vlakke van evaluering wat gewoonlik tydens opleiding geëvalueer gaan word. And the first one is when we evaluate reaction. Ons evalueer die reaksie van ons werknemers na die afloop van die opleidingskursus. So this is normally done by making use of a reaction questionnaire that is given to employees at the end of a training session that they can complete anonymously, where they give feedback on the course itself, whether it actually met their expectations. Dit gaan alles oor, is hulle verwagtinge bereik, het hulle iets geleer uit die proses uit, wat is hulle opinie oor die venue, oor die opleier, oor die kursusmateriaal, and whether they have any suggestions on how the training course can be improved for the future. So dit is regtig net om hulle reaksie te kry tot die opleidingskursus en of dit wel vir hulle van waarde was. Gewoonlik is dit meer soos 'n glyskaal reaksie wat hulle verwag word. So jy sê vir hulle, out of a score from 1 to 5, 1 being completely dissatisfied and 5 being extremely happy, how do you feel about the presenter and their interaction with the class? En dan moet hulle nou op die questionnaire aandui, is hulle baie happy of is hulle glad nie happy nie? And they can in some cases also explain why they have given certain answers. So we can evaluate their reaction based on the questionnaire that we give them. Die tweede vlak van evaluering wat plaasvind is die evaluering van leer, en dit kan ons gewoonlik doen deur middel van 'n klein toetsie wat geskryf word aan die einde van 'n kursus, and that will be even more effective if there was a small test that has been written at the beginning of the training course as well. So baie kursusse doen dit, dan doen hulle vinnige toetsie in die begin om net om te kyk, wat weet jy, waar is jou huidige vlak van kennis rondom hierdie onderwerp, en aan die einde van die kursus doen hulle die toets weer om te kyk of daar wel leer plaasgevind het. So that's a very effective way to see whether learning has taken place and whether learning objectives have been reached in this instance. Die derde een is die evaluering van gedrag, evaluating behavior. And this one is very difficult to evaluate during and straight after a training course. Evaluating behavior will take place over the long run through means of observation by either the trainer themselves or the line manager of the employees. So die opleier kan dan nou questionnaires deurstuur vir die lynbestuurder en vir die werknemers se kollegas, en dan so 'n paar maande later net vra, okay, gee vir my terugvoering, sien julle verandering in hierdie persoon se gedrag, al dan nou nie? And if they see a change in behavior, then it clearly shows that learning has taken place and that the training has been effective in addressing the objectives as set out by the course. En baie belangrik op hierdie stadium om te onthou dat 'n werknemer se gedrag gaan net verander as hulle wil verander. Baie keer is jou gedrag 'n gewoonte. Many people's behavior is a habit, and a habit, as we all know, is very difficult to break. So it's difficult to change a behavior just like that, and it therefore needs continuous coaching and mentoring within the workplace for the change in behavior to take place. Die vierde vlak van evaluering waarna hulle ook gaan kyk, is evaluering van werksprestasie en resultate. Now this can also only be done over the long term via the performance appraisal process to see at the end of the year whether the training has been effective in helping the employee to improve their performance. En dit is ook iets wat oor die lang termyn kan bepaal of leerdoelwitte wel geslaag is en natuurlik of die behoefte na opleiding wel aangespreek is. Now remember, everything starts with the training need. This then corresponds to a learning objective, and then we have to determine whether the learning has actually taken place and whether there's been a change in performance. En ek dink dit is die belangrikste een vir die besigheid ook. That's the only one where they can see a return on investment. Van 'n werknemer wat meer perform en wat beter presteer, gaan hulle doelwitte bereik, and if they achieve their objectives, they will ultimately achieve the objectives of the business. En dit is waar die laaste vlak van evaluering inkom, where we evaluate the impact of training on the enterprise. And in order to do that, we need to look at this whole intervention holistically, not just by the reaction questionnaire and where the learning has taken place, but also incorporating whether there's been a change in behavior and attitude, as well as a change in the performance of the business. Julle moet onthou dat die besigheid investeer geweldig baie geld in opleiding en ontwikkeling, en hulle wil sien dat daar 'n opbrengs is. They want to see return on investment. And although that's very difficult to calculate, the only way that we can prove that there has been an impact on the business is through changed behavior and through improved performance and attitudes in the workplace. So dis jou 5 vlakke. Ons evalueer reaksie, ons evalueer leer, ons evalueer gedrag, prestasie en natuurlik die impak op die besigheid. The last part of Module 5 talks about the instruments that we can use to conduct training evaluation. En daar's redelik 'n paar evaluasie-instrumente wat ons kan gebruik. Die eerste een is deur middel van onderhoude. Ons kan 'n onderhoud voer met die werknemer so 'n paar maande na die opleidingssessie, or we can do an interview with the employee's line manager or supervisor and say, listen, this employee's been for training a few months ago. Have you noticed a change in their behavior or their performance or even in their attitudes in the workplace? So jy kan fisies daardie gesprek met die werknemer se superiors hê. We can also make use of a questionnaire that we actually administer to the employee himself and the business supervisor or team leader. So jy gee dit nie net noodwendig vir jou werknemer nie, maar ons kan ook vir sy direkte supervisor of bestuurder gee om ook terugvoering te gee, and this will then be kept on file as evidence where the learning has actually taken place. Obviously, ons moet die lynbestuurder betrokke kry, because employees can be funny creatures. They can sometimes say that learning has taken place or the changes in behavior has taken place, but it might not always necessarily be true. So mense het soms nodig dat jou lynbestuurder of jou supervisor daardie verandering in gedrag kan bevestig. The third instrument we can use is tests and exams. We can write a test at the end of the course and then a few months later as well. En hierdie toetse is dan natuurlik meer 'n kwantifiseerbare bewys van opleiding en leer wat wel plaasgevind het. And it's also a very nice way to keep on file as well. The last instrument we can make use of is records. When we look at performance records over the last year, we compare the current year's performance records with the previous year's performance records, and this will allow us to evaluate whether learning has really changed the performance of employees. We can even look at records of the course itself. Het ons alles op record, het ons die reaction questionnaires, het ons die instrumente wat ons gebruik het, die metodes, die media, het ons alles by mekaar en het ons dit op record. We can look at records of the persons attending the course, so jy kan gaan kyk watter mense het die kursus bygewoon, hoeveel het bygewoon, hoeveel keer is het bygewoon, ensovoorts. We can also look at records of the trainers themselves and their feedback, whether they have grown and whether they've been effective as trainers in achieving learning objectives. And lastly, the records on the methods and the media that have been used and whether they've been effective. Alright, so that is the module on training evaluation. If there are any specific questions, as er enige iets is waarmee julle nog steeds sukkel, stuur asseblief vir my op die WhatsApp groepie and I will try my best to work in an extra video just to explain that for you in more detail. Maar tot dan gaan ons van môre af aan met hoofstuk 6, so wees asseblief voorbereid daarvoor. Ons gesels weer môre. Bye!